Hello everybody, how's Karen and the kids? How's Edna doing at the bingo tournament? Happy late narcissist month, everyone. Today, in spirit of such a religious month and the blasphemy I committed by missing it, I decided to dial down on the controversial topics and really pick something safe and not divisive at all. So, we're going to talk about transgenderism. I've covered Sam before and I really wanted to cover another one of her videos, but realized that there was indeed no time to delve into the type of community she's a part of. The video we're covering today really symbolizes the superiority complex of the left, and specifically the gay BC's group. In the modern day, homosexuality is seen as the ideal, the purest form of being, the most authentic version of self, and the people that belong to this cult look down upon anyone who's straight for some reason. But now that that's all out of the way, let's get on with it. Okay, first off, what an amazing title, guys. Isn't that just the greatest video title you've ever seen in your life? Let's play a little game called Is It Bigotry? Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to analyze the mirror image of this statement right here to determine if it's sexist, racist, or bigoted in nature. Now let's see here. The statement, "Are the straights okay?" creates the assumption that you are questioning the mental stability of a general population of people based solely on their sexuality. However, heterosexuality is vile and privileged, so it's totally fine. Now, if Sam asked if the trannies were okay, nah bro, we gotta hold a mostly peaceful protest for that one.
Today we're going to be visiting the subreddit of Are the Straights Okay? So if you don't know, this subreddit is filled with a bunch of straight people saying really weird things. They don't surprise me, though, either. So, you know, let's check in on the straights. Let's see if they're okay. Alright, son, time for your annual check so I can brag about your future sexual prowess like a totally normal person. I don't know. Your sons are like 4 years old. That's weird. There's a post on Facebook. It says, "How many of you stay-at-home moms/wives do not miss your husbands while they're at work? Mine ruins my day once I see his face." I don't know what the whole deal is with straight people and hating their spouses, but it's been an ongoing joke for like the past 50 years, maybe even more.
I love how you find the weirdest people on the internet and just attribute them to a specific sexuality and you group them together. It would be like me finding a bunch of pedophilic alphabet soup group members and then making them the representatives of your sexuality, knowing full well that not all homosexuals or transgender people are pedophiles. It's extremely dishonest to suggest that all straight people behave in this manner, and if I were to do it to you, you'd call me a bigot. So.
Me and my friend found this the other day, and it's a child shirt that says, "Nice boobs, can I try one?" Okay, but teaching children that some kids have two dads and two.
Your point is stupid because you automatically assume people are okay with this. I guarantee you nobody on the right would openly advocate for that shirt. Nobody defended this, and it's a huge non sequitur because these two topics cannot be intertwined together. Also, it's simply not necessary for schools to teach kids about homosexual relationships and such due to the fact that it is simply not a fruitful conversation. The only reason why we learn about sexual relationships is from a biological standpoint, so that we can learn about how humans reproduce, which just so happens to have a practical application in the world. Learning about how Steve has two dads is simply not needed in the education system, and it should be up to the parents to tell their kids whatever they want. You can say whatever you want, Sam, but learning about sexuality has no actual purpose in academics. That would be like teaching elementary schoolers that Benjamin Franklin was a womanizer and part of the Hellfire Club, which consisted of upper-class people participating in sexual deviance such as orgies. It's simply not needed, even if it is true, and there needs to be a filter in the education system of what is the most valuable information and what isn't.
I found this in my local store. The banner on the left translates to "soon to be groom." So look at this picture here. Soon to be groom on the left, and then game over are next to each other. And if you zoom in, you can see the husband and the wife on a ball and a chain. If you guys don't want to get married, then don't fucking get married. It's really just not that hard.
Because it's a joke? Maybe? If your relationship is so fragile that it can't handle jokes, then perhaps you shouldn't be together. That one is pretty mild, too. Seriously, what is wrong with the left and not being able to comprehend a joke? I mean, sure, this one isn't particularly funny, but it doesn't change his intention, which was a comedic one, and not one of malice. The people on your side of the political spectrum are the only ones that attribute jokes to people's actual feelings towards something or someone, which is what led to the cancellation and or attempted cancellation of many different people.
I love it when kids kiss, huh? It makes me feel good.
Set of tweets here. I love toxic masculinity because masculinity isn't toxic. It's hot. Every feminist feel this way, they just won't openly admit it. Feminists just bang masculine men when they really need a dicking, then never tell their boyfriends about it. So the thing is, men who have toxic masculinity are actually not masculine at all. He's only pretending to be because he's insecure.
Oh, shut the fuck up! See, here's the problem. The things many people attribute to toxic masculinity is just masculinity, and it's normal for women to be attracted to masculine men. Yes, men are expected to be stoic and brave and to not show any weakness because of their role in society. As touched on in previous videos, women want many qualities in men, including security and consistency. These two things cannot be accomplished if you are an emotional wreck and you wear your heart on your sleeve. Toxic masculinity is simply a facade to androgynized males, and that leads to men that act like a 13-year-old girl that's going through her first breakup. Women also generally like assertiveness and traits that are deemed too toxic for the modern man.
I can't imagine his shock when he learns that both gay men and gay animals exist. There's a post on Reddit here. It says, "Why did you go to a ball with a man you had no sexual interest in? No man truly wants to be just friends with a woman." Somebody replied and said, "You can go party with women without sexual interest. That's called having friends and not being a creepy asshole." He replied and said, "Little secret, men don't want to be friends with women. There are no male friends. There are only friend-zoned losers and beta males. Does a male lion have female friends? Name one male species on the planet that just wants to be friends with his female counterpart." Humans. Humans are capable of doing that. You're just a piece of shit. Just because you can't be friends with women doesn't mean everybody else feels the same way. So, stop speaking for everybody else and go f yourself.
I mean, you can say that, I suppose, although I can understand the disbelief. I think it is indeed rare to have friends of the opposite sex that you're not attracted to in some way, although it is possible. And also, the larger issue here, humans and animals are not naturally homosexual. According to an article published in 2004, the author gives an explanation as to why an animal may exhibit homosexual tendencies. The explanation is written as follows. Sarah Hartwell explains that tomcats kill their kittens after receiving mixed signals from their instincts. Most female cats can switch between play mode and hunt mode in order not to harm their offspring. In tomcats, this switching off to hunt mode may be incomplete, and when they become highly aroused through play, the hunting instinct comes into force and they may kill the kittens. The hunting instinct is so strong and so hard to switch off when prey is present that dismemberment and even eating of the kitten may ensue. Compare the size, sound, and activity of kittens with the size, sound, and activity of prey. They are both small, have high-pitched voices, and move with fast, erratic movements. All of these trigger hunting behavior. In the tomcat, maternal behavior cannot always override hunting behavior, and he treats the kittens in exactly the same way he would treat small prey. His instincts are confused. End quote. Allow me to reiterate that his instincts are confused. There were mixed signals being outputted, and some instincts override others. It is also written that oftentimes animals will use what is seen as a sexual behavior to demonstrate other things, such as dominance or fear. I mean, this honestly has to be the dumbest point I've ever heard from anybody, because even if homosexual animals exist, it shouldn't be the justification for homosexual behavior in humans. Otherwise, you'd be advocating for interspecies relations, incest, cannibalism, murder, and more.
It might be a little too early to tell, but when I changed Blank's diaper and Blank's pull-ups today, it might be safe to say I blessed my boys. I'm gonna keep checking back, but their futures are looking bright. These kids have to be like 2 and 5?
Yeah, what's wrong with the joke? Why are you so spiteful towards these kinds of jokes? Seems to me that you dislike straight people a lot, my friend, because nobody in their right mind would take those seriously. Literally, it's just a joke. If this is considered offensive, I can't imagine what Sam would think constitutes verbal abuse. I mean, okay, let's be real for a second, okay? People who purposefully take jokes seriously are the equivalent of the kid in class that reminds the teacher of homework or the test that they were supposed to do.
Alright, this next one says, "You won't let me monopolize your time, so we can't be together." I guess this was on a dating site and it says, "I just read your bio. I'm sorry, I don't think we'd be a good match." Out of curiosity, which part made you determine that? This guy replied and said, "Single mother. So I'll come second to children that aren't even mine," which is totally understandable, by the way. Also, you have kids and you're 35, so you probably don't want any more, and even if you did, it's about a 70% chance that you can't. You're also an independent woman. so your career will come before me as well. Most likely not submissive. Have the same I don't need a man, I want a man mentality as all the other girls that let social construct brainwash them. When girls typically say they are independent, they use that as an excuse for their bad behavior and masculine traits. I want a stay-at-home wife that's the mother to my children, who will give me stability and will stay loyal to me and is submissive, but that's impossible to find. Sorry for the rant. Modern dating is impossible for men like me. Men like you will have a stay-at-home wife but then go cheat on her when she's pregnant. It's funny because if you didn't want her, you wouldn't have matched with her or messaged her at all in general. You just wanted to let her know why you're not interested so you could feed your own ego because you're insecure. This guy fantasizes about being on his knees for Andrew Tate.
Oh, brother!
Okay, that doesn't fit within the framework of the story whatsoever. This is because the guy allegedly didn't read the entire bio before matching, which I would assume is a pretty common occurrence because I'm sure most of the human population is a bit too lazy to read the bio depending on how long it is. Even if they aren't lazy, they could just be fed up with reading so much, and so they might not read a few, they might have only skimmed past it. What Sam here suggests is that the guy should have just straight up ghosted her and not offered an explanation as to why he didn't want to match with her, and says him telling her the reason why they can't match is just the evil man feeding into his ego. I think what the guy did wasn't that bad, except I feel like he could have just left it at single mother. He really wasn't demeaning though. All he said was, you're gonna have a lot of things to do and not a lot of time for me. I mean, he was just saying that he wants what he wants in a woman, wasn't shaming her at all for lifestyle, or beliefs, and kept it pretty straightforward and seemingly factual. Granted, he could be a bit more tactful with the fertility and age thing.
This is so misguided, it's almost laughable. So we've got a meme here. It says, women in first world nations about to complain how bad they have it. Men who are more likely to self-delete, expected to always be self-reliant in society, taught to be stoic and suppress emotions. The next frame says, longer prison times for the same crimes women commit. The third frame says, expected to ignore boobs while being hardwired to stare at them. Men are not hardwired to stare at boobs because gay men exist. Boobs aren't made for people to look at and just like an appealing trait. They actually have an actual use. Everything about women are great, but I can look into your eyes like I'm doing right now. I'm looking in your eyes. Okay, we're not hardwired to look at your boobs. It just doesn't. No, but in all seriousness, that's just not how it works.
I love how Sam ignores literally everything else about the meme and then reacts to just the very end because it's the only thing she can actually rebuttal without looking like a fool. Unfortunately though, men are kind of hardwired that way. What's funny is that now Sam has to say, well, you gotta ignore those nasty natural inclinations, which completely debunks the it's natural argument that many LGBT activists make to justify sexual deviance. The it's natural argument, along with a few others, are examples of members of the gay BCs trying to make homosexuality moral in the eyes of society, and make Judeo-Christian values seem extreme, hypocritical, uncompassionate, and oppressive in nature. Now, I know some of you listen to that part thinking, wow, you seem pretty hateful towards gay people, but that really couldn't be further from the truth. I just don't feel the need to preface everything with, hey guys, I don't hate gay people, I just believe that homosexuality is immoral. But that doesn't mean I hate a person, etc., etc. Enter a cliche thing about my friends being homosexuals.
Let's see, I have water, oh, I have some tea. Oh my god, yes, spill. What?
Because I really shouldn't have to justify myself. I mean, I disagree with the life choices of drug addict too.
Chef, make yourself. How are you doing? Are you ready?
Don't look. Just give me 1 minute, okay? Just 1 second, okay? I'm a bit busy right now.
Chef, make yourself. What is that?
But that doesn't mean I hate them, and it's probably one of the stupidest arguments out there, that hating someone is disagreeing with them, their lifestyle. To conclude the sequel of reacting to a cesspool of content, the only thing I can really say is that Sam Collins is simply a self-religious, arrogant fool, as with most of the LGBT members. Now don't mistake what I'm saying, I'm not talking about gay people in general, only people who say they belong to the political organization that is the LGBTQIA2S+. Imagine you taking pride in your sexuality. Is it because you have no actual achievements to be proud of, so you pretend you're fighting World War II by changing your pronouns to they, them, and putting a rainbow flag in your profile picture? You really aren't targeted. There have been hardly any crimes against you fueled off of the fact that you're gay, or trans, or whatever you identify as. You're not a marginalized group in that way, and having a whole month to yourself proves that you're in fact treated as superior.